Welcome to Electrified. It's your host, Dylan Loomis. So real quick, there was some breaking news this morning about FINRA and Robinhood, so let's take a listen.
Hey, Carl, good morning. Robinhood reaching a settlement this morning with one of its regulators, FINRA. The total fine here for Robinhood, $70 million, $57 million of that was the fine, and about $13 million of that is going to restitution to, quote, thousands of harmed customers, as FINRA put it. This had to do with Robinhood's options trading practices and outages from March of last year. FINRA mentions those outages. They talk about customer service issues from previous years. FINRA saying, in part, this action sends, quote, a clear message to all of its member firms that they have to comply with the brokerage industry rules. And guys, a little bit of context here. Robinhood had set aside some money for this, about $26 million, in preparations for a fine. They disclosed this back in March that this was coming. Today's fine, roughly double or more than double what they had forecast. And Robinhood is neither admitting or denying allegations. I do have a statement here from Robinhood. They say, quote, Robinhood has invested heavily in improving platform stability, enhancing our educational resources, and building out our customer support and legal and compliance teams. They say we are glad to put this matter behind us. We look forward to continuing our focus on customers and democratizing finance for all. And guys, this is not the first FINRA fine for Robinhood. The startup was dinged back in 2019 for violating best execution practices. That was a much smaller number. It was about less than $2 million at the time. The company is expected to file IPO paperwork soon. Some of these FINRA settlements and regulatory issues had been a big overhang. And at least with one regulator, FINRA here, the path appears to be cleared for an IPO. The company has been a huge beneficiary of this retail boom. We'll hopefully have more on that IPO soon in the coming weeks.
And as you can see, this $70 million fine is a new record watermark from FINRA, which is definitely a big deal. And honestly, I'm very glad to see this because I personally think that Robinhood is either shady or massively underprepared for the amount of money inflows that they've had over the past few months. And I personally really just prefer the traditional brokerages like Fidelity and TD Ameritrade. Those are probably my two personal favorites. They've just been around a lot longer. They have a lot more trust and credibility because they have proven decades of track records. They handle a lot more money, and really they're just more professional in my opinion. So if you are somebody out there who uses Robinhood and you have any impactful amount of money on Robinhood, I personally would really consider looking for a new brokerage, not necessarily because there's going to be any major issues where you need to worry about losing all of that money on Robinhood, but I just personally would have a lot more trust in other platforms, like I said, that have been around for longer. They're more traditional. Sure, the user interface may not be as easy, but I really think that small learning curve for learning how to use something like Fidelity or TD Ameritrade in the long run is absolutely worth it, in my humble opinion. You're going to get a lot more help, a lot more customer service, a lot more functionality in the long term, which are all good things. So good on FINRA for laying the smackdown to Robinhood, because I believe Robinhood only set aside about $26 million. So this fine is about 3 times as big as they were expecting. And personally, I'm glad to see it. But moving to Tesla, Elon tweeted the top safety pick plus from the IIHS. He's excited about it. It's the highest overall rating, but we think we can get the max score for all subcategories and individual tests too. Tesla will be retesting in a month or so with improved software. The improved software will then be uploaded to all cars with FSD computers, and yes, hardware 3.0 is considered an FSD computer. Now, there is a ton of speculation flying around about what this improved software will mean. Is this going to have an impact on version 9? Really, we don't have any short answer, so I'm not going to waste anybody's time trying to guess what Elon is getting at here. JPR shared a really nice chart about Tesla in China for May of this year. Tesla is the production leader with 36,861 units, 38% higher than the next best competitor. And my biggest takeaway here was, as you can see, only 3 OEMs, Tesla, SGMW, and BYD, are in the 5-figure monthly production range rate, and only 2 of which are increasing year over year and month over month. As you can see, only those 2, Tesla and BYD, and Tesla's month over month and year over year increase is significantly bigger than BYD. So Tesla is the clear-cut leader in production and also has one of the strongest growth rates, at least in terms of month over month and year over year. And in case you're not familiar, SGMW is SAIC or SAIC, GM, and Wuling. It's really just a 3-way joint venture between SAIC Motor, GM, and Liu Zhu Wuling Motors Company. And JPR keeps it rolling today with another chart Talking about just the SUV segment for May in China for 2021, Tesla Model Y was the leader with 12,744 units, which is 163% higher than the next manufacturer, more than the total of the next 3 manufacturers combined. And then here is the chart. I'm not going to go through all of it, so go ahead, take a screenshot, and then zoom in and read what you would like. And on this day in 2010, 11 years ago, Tesla opened its first factory. The factory previously owned by GM and Toyota, and today Tesla is worth more than GM and Toyota combined. Really an incredible testament to Elon and the team, and here's to another decade of incredible performance. And Simon Morris, who works for Benchmark Mineral Intelligence, probably the leading global industry experts on the battery and mineral supply chain, said LFP double down. Tesla's new deal with CATL that we talked about yesterday is for 100% LFP starting next year. It's a logical expansion of Tesla's battery demand in China. It also means Tesla's split next year is pretty much 50-50 in high nickel and LFP. Once again, a thread I've been saying we need to follow for months now, this shift to LFP batteries that we could see in the Powerwall, that we will see in more stationary storage projects because of the lower costs, and the performance of these LFP chemistries are now improving to the point where they are viable for standard range vehicles and stationary energy storage. And this article from Jose Pontes gives us some great insight to the overall EV market. I think sometimes we get so zoomed into the details that every now and then it's healthy and really beneficial to zoom out and take a look at the whole EV market globally to see what's really going on. As you can see, the Model 3 and Model Y were number 1 and number 2 in global EV sales for May. So global plug-in vehicle registrations, both battery electric vehicles and plug-in hybrids, we're up an impressive 199% last month compared to May 2020 to 442,000 units, or 6.6% share of the overall auto market. That was the industry's third best month ever. Fully electric BEVs jumped 190% to 295,000 registrations, or a 4.4% global overall auto market share. We should be seeing the plug-in vehicle market easily surpass 5 million units this year. Keep in mind, just about 5 years ago, around 2016, this number was closer to about 700,000. Now, these May results pulled the 2021 PEV share slightly up to 5.8%, 3.8% of which were BEVs, which is already significantly above the 4% last year. And listen to this, a large single-digit number, say 8 or 9%, as disruption, which would be a 2-digit number, on a global level is set to happen in the last months of this year or in 2022 at the latest. So these figures aren't talking about total cars on the road. These figures are talking about new car sales and the percentages that are plug-in electric vehicles, once again, hybrid and full battery electric. And as you can see, taking a look at the first 5 months of 2021 for a global statistic model, Tesla is leading the way with 276,459 sales, followed by SGMW, Volkswagen, BYD, and then BMW, rounding out the top 5 slots with over 100,000 vehicles sold so far year to date. And we learned that the Model Y is about to be launched here in Hong Kong, but there is some very interesting tax and cost considerations we need to take a look at. So this will be the first right-hand drive market to receive the Model Y, and it will come in 3 variants, which will go on sale in Hong Kong on July 2nd, and deliveries are expected to start in September. So let's talk quickly about the pricing situation. So the Hong Kong $329,000 is equivalent to about 42,000 US dollars, and this will be for the Standard Range Plus variant, which is interesting, by the way, because there is currently no Standard Range Plus for the United States market, but it looks like Hong Kong will be getting it. The long range version will start at 48,000 United States dollars, and prices do not include the first registration tax, which is a substantial amount, as you are about to see. And of course, the performance version will be available as well for about $54,000. So Hong Kong has a very substantial first registration tax, or FRT, which is applied to new vehicle purchases in the area. And listen to these rates. 46% of the first HK $150,000. So 150,000 Hong Kong dollars is equivalent to about 20,000 US dollars. Then if you take 46% of that first 20,000, you get a $9,200 sales tax, plus 86% on the second Hong Kong $150,000, and we take 86% of that next 20,000 to be an additional 17,200. So we would already be looking at roughly a $26,000 tax on a $40,000 vehicle purchase. And then just to add the cherry on top, you have a 115% on the next 200,000 Hong Kong dollars, which would be equivalent to the next 25,000 US dollars, which 115% of that next $25,000 would be an additional $28,700 in this FRT tax. So of course, Tesla is going to try to price the models lower to start because they have to factor in this tax that these Hong Kong residents will pay, because most likely, and the expectation is that these Model Y with the right-hand drive setup will actually ship from Giga Shanghai, because there they are already making right-hand drive Model 3s. Now, the reason the Hong Kong government does this is quite simple. They really want to reduce the cars on the road to reduce congestion, etc. But from what I'm picking up online and from what I've read, apparently people in Hong Kong are actually willing to pay this tax to own more luxury vehicles, as that high-end luxury market isn't as affected by taxes like this. I guess we'll have to wait and see how the Model Y does in Hong Kong. We also learned that we have a new Tesla Megapack project, which is going to be one of the biggest in the United States. So Aravon Asset Management, a leading renewable energy company, is celebrating the opening of the Satakoy battery energy storage system. Local residents and community leaders helped stop plans for a proposed gas peaker plant, which was supposed to be located near the beach. And Aravon actually completed this BESS, or battery energy storage system, in 9 months. And just to give you a frame of reference, a peaker plant typically takes anywhere from 50 to 200 months. Now, yes, I know this isn't an apples to apples comparison, because peaker plants actually generate electricity too, but the way I see it, they could just put up some solar panels with this BESS here for Aravon, and then turn it into a production and storage situation. But as you can see, they are indeed using Tesla Megapacks, and energy stored on the site can power Oxnard for 4 hours or all of Ventura County for 30 minutes. And this 142 Megapack system is going to be 100 megawatts and 400 megawatt hours. Just remember, megawatt denotes the power and megawatt hours denotes the storage capacity. And if you remember, there was a time when the world's biggest battery at the Hornsdale Power Reserve that also used Tesla Megapacks, well, now that is capable of delivering 150 megawatts or 189 megawatt hours. So as you can see, the storage capacity of this new system is actually going to be almost twice as much as the previously world's largest battery. And the best analogy I've heard for remembering the difference between megawatt and megawatt hours, think of a garden hose with water flowing through it and then a bucket that you're filling up. So the megawatts denotes the power or the rate at which the water is going through the hose, and then the megawatt hours is the actual bucket. So the smaller the bucket, the smaller the storage, and the larger the bucket, the more water it can hold or the more energy it can store. Maybe I'm just weird and that one really works for only me, but I think at least a few of you out there will benefit from remembering that analogy. But that's all for today. Please take a second to like the video if you did. I really hope you guys have an awesome day, and a big thank you to everybody on the next screen.